But it wasn't as much, it wasn't like doing a proper character. It was exactly the same thing as me.
But But then when you sort of got a lift with other comedians, didn't you keep the charade up?
Yeah, that was the problem, because people genuinely did believe that I was Welsh, and because it wasn't a huge character. Again, it was just like, it was a believable voice. But then, so I'd be getting a lift back with someone, and they'd be like, so how long have you lived in Wales all your life? And I'd have to go, yes, long years now. It's nice to come to London, all this kind of thing. And I'd feel like it's one of those things where, as everyone knows, the bigger the lie you tell, the more you have to embellish it.
I didn't realise you were doing it off stage as well.
I felt like I had to, because
this is so funny.
I think
this is so funny. It's like Mrs. Doubtfire with all the stress that comes with that. But it's like, you got to remember to be Welsh. It's like
it was a lot like a Mrs. Doubtfire situation.
I suppose you've got so far with it, you can't go.
Well, to be fair,
I'm not Welsh.
The problem was because when I started it, I was only doing 5 minutes in pubs like you do when you start. So I never thought it would be a problem. But then it started to be successful, and I was known as that Welsh guy. So then it was too late to go. But it was a classic Mrs. Doubtfire thing. Oh. You don't expect it to work, but once it is working, you're like, shit, I was basically dressed as a woman.
So what point did you sort of come out as English?
Well, there were a few problems. Firstly, I got invited to this dinner for young Welsh achievers, and
oh no,
that is a bit of a shame. And it's I wanted to go because at that point I was earning no money, so if I could get dinner out of it, I was like, all right. I got there, and people in America might not know, but as well as having a different accent, the Welsh do have their own language, which nearly all of them speak English as a first language, but then Welsh is also a separate language. So I went to this dinner, and the people were proper
You can't speak Welsh at
No,
all?
I can speak a few words of it, but nearly all of them are song lyrics by the band The Super Furry Animals, and you can't do a whole dinner party like that.
There's a lot of that. A lot of that.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of difficult sounds for a person to make, and so it's one thing to like you can, and because I had family in Wales, because I knew plenty of Welsh people, I could bluff up to a point, but when there's a shift into a different language, it's time to put your hands up in the air, really. Yeah. So there was that. But also, I was starting to get invited onto, radio shows, stuff like BBC stuff, like Loose Ends, or, like radio chat shows where they're not even asking you to do comedy, you're just talking. So then I was like, well, am I going to have a whole conversation in a fake accent?
But when you're doing the fake accent, I don't know. No, so I assume an accent's an accent and you can do it, right? A Welsh person, another Welsh person in the room wouldn't go, that's a fake accent, would they? They'd assume, if it didn't get round to speaking actual Welsh, there was no danger of you getting caught. This was...
No, because if real Welsh people had seen through it, I would have dropped it faster. But as it was, and it's not like I'm even good at accents, it was just that one that I happened to be able to do because of having grown up around it and stuff. So yeah, people never challenged it, and it was getting to the stage where, and I would always describe it as a Welsh comedian, but at the same time, there was a guy called Rod Gilbert who... you'll have come across who really was Welsh, and the two of us were starting.
Is he though?
Well, as far as
is he?
I tell you what, if he's doing it as an act, he's done it really bloody well. That's like an entire lifetime. So that was the other problem. I was meeting real Welsh comedians, and I started to feel like I was sort of somehow stealing a living from them by because Rod used to say we would often be on the same bill, because when you're starting out, there's a lot of like newcomer competitions and stuff. And he would say, "Oh, it's a nightmare. There's two of us Welsh, so whoever goes on first, they'll get all the Welsh jokes." And I was like, yeah, sort of, except I'm totally like. So things like that made me feel really bad.
This is like blacking up. This is like
I started to feel like I was blacking up in a less controversial way.
Yes.
So blacking up was my next idea, actually, but I didn't do that for as long.
Was there anyone who knew that you were putting on an accent?
Well, I would sometimes tell promoters, like people that were running the gigs and stuff, I would tell them confidentially because, or basically anyone asking.
Sidle up to them and go, "I'm not Welsh."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not Welsh.
It was like, hey, people need to come out eventually. You need to.
All these people have bought tickets.
That was the trouble. Yeah.